Oh, man. Welcome to the OMFL News After Dark. This is your boy Brady Sr. Going to talk about the stats for the day, stats of the week, because right now we're on hold. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everybody's being safe and sound, getting that shopping in. But yeah, man, we're going to talk about game of the week for the current week, week 6. We're also going to talk about, looks like we're going to talk about some standings. Might even get into some stat leaders for offense, defense. Then we'll talk about the power rankings, and then we'll talk about players of the week. And then we'll talk about the going zone with another fucking update by EA in this game of Madden, this juncture already in this season. So, yeah, a lot going on, but stay live, stay tuned. This is your boy Brady Sr. with the OMFL News After Dark. We'll be right back after this. Peace. Hey, Brady on the track. Hey, break it down now. Hey, break it down now. Hey. Anyway, what's up, y'all, man? It's your boy Brady Sr., man. Hopefully you having some happy holiday spirit, and hopefully getting that Thanksgiving turkey and that gravy still pouring. But let's talk about the power rankings real quick, man, for the current week 6. Texans at 1, Cowboys at 2, Buccaneers at 3, Lions at 4, Chiefs at 5, Ravens at 6, Panthers at 7, Bengals at 8, Cardinals at 9, and the Patriots at 10. That's what the shakeup is right now. It looks like we have still a couple teams that's got to play this week. Looks like we have Patriots got to play, Cardinals got to play, and the Buccaneers have to play, and and them Texans. But yo, stay locked, man. We're gonna keep this beat rolling, and we're gonna talk about last week's player of the week. Peace. Yeah, I told y'all, man, I'll be right back at it is. Gotta talk about the players of the week. Hey. So it looks like last week's top players went to, on the offensive side, went to Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 189 yards, 4 TDs. And then on the defensive side, it looks like Bernardrick. Woo! Say that 3 times fast. Bernardrick McKinney the third. No, I'm just playing. It looks like Bernard McKinney, left outside linebacker, was the defensive player of last week. 6 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 0 forced fumbles. But yeah, man, that name was a mouthful. Just like my mouth was full of that Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. But, hey, I digress, man. I hope everybody enjoyed their time there with their family and whatnot. Be safe.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
When I hit you up, I'm talking about banging something. Chill off in your crib and half a thing, probably make this thing or something. Girl, you like my bottom, bitch. Post my bill, pay for my lawyer. Play your position when the mother hoes get out of order. When you wanna give me that, you purchase a plane ticket. Run around town when I bust the...
Alright, what's up, guys? My camera is totally blowed out right now, but I don't care. I can fix the camera situation later. I'm just trying to test everything and see if the audio is going to sync up and see if Madden's actually not going to be fuzzy. I hate working out kinks on new stuff. So welcome to a Saints and Sinners week number 1 through 8 podcast. We have not done one in a very long time. This PlayStation 5, man, it is freaking driving my life insane with this whole new thing that I had to go ahead and go with. So let's get over here to the overlay and see. It's still fuzzy, isn't it? Sorry, guys. Trying to figure out why it is playing at such a low situation. So let me try one more thing. This is why I'm testing this before I go to bed after this freaking terrible loss that I just had. Let me try something. All right, it's confusing the hell out of me, but kind of is what it is for tonight, and I'll fight with it again tomorrow because I'm about to give up on this thing. So my Saints are sitting here at 2-4-1. We just had a really good game against Bloop, though. It was actually a really fun game. I thought I had him. And then on a 3rd and long, my guys gave up a one-handed long, like 46-yard bomb, followed by the next drive, 2 plays in. Had to get my backup running back a carry. He goes off the right side, and as he's being tackled, literally tosses the ball to the defense. I didn't hit a button. It looked like one of those like messed up lateral plays. He tosses it to the defense, fumbles 6, goes back, game over. Pretty much ended it right there. So my team lost a ton this past season. We lost, I think, 12 starters, or at least 12 players that played a lot. Most of those were starters, but 12 players that played a lot. And then we had to make a bunch of cuts, and you can see we're sitting here at $50.1 million in the hole for this year, but it really sets us up great for next year because I think I had like $80 or $90 million set up for next year, which would have been really, really good. And I needed some of that because Ramczyk was up for a new contract. He just re-signed a 4-year deal. I want to say Armstead was up for a contract. He just signed a brand new 4-year deal. Lattimore was up for a contract. He signed a 4-year deal. And I've got one more. I think I may have 2 more that I can sign during the season. And I'm kind of saving those for Maddox, who I really want to bring back. I traded for him, and then I got to kind of pick who I'm going to go after next, and then it's either going to be Harris or DeMarcus Davenport, and then I'll try to re-sign those guys in the last phase because I really want to bring back all of these dudes. Maybe not Jackson, maybe not Granderson, but definitely want to bring back all the rest of these guys at least to be really good role players. Will Clapp is asking for a lot of money for a backup player. And so that really set us up to have a pretty rough roster, a young roster that has some potential to grow, but man, the quarterback situation's pretty bleak, as Arizona is now learning with his 66 overall quarterback. It is not fun to play with these guys. It is not easy to play with these types of quarterbacks. Pope has some potential long term, but being a normal development, he's going to be really, really hard to build and become a winner. I think he's going to be a solid backup for my team, but probably not the answer. I'm going to probably have to go out and sign somebody, or hopefully I'll have a top 15, top 10 draft pick, and I can maybe take a flyer and draft somebody. It just depends on how the draft falls. He's got some okay accuracy. Again, if this guy was coming in and playing 4 or 5 games for you as a backup injury type replacement, I'd feel totally fine with it. Same thing with Pope. All these guys have like some highlights and some lowlights in their game, but definitely going to be tough to build, as all of them are pretty normal development guys. Of course, we still have Kamara to build around, but he's not had a good season. I haven't played well with him. My offensive line just this past 2 games have started to play up to their potential, but overall have not played super, super well. In my receiver core is a core that I'm actually kind of excited about. Devontae Harris, he's going to move into a slot position. I let him start a couple of games, but didn't really work out the way I'd hoped for. So now I've moved him into the slot, hoping that he can use his superstar abilities to kind of move around and use that speed. And it's worked out much, much better for me. I've moved Emmanuel Hall into that starting spot. I love his size. I love his speed. He can't block worth a damn at all, but Smith just doesn't get open. He's got great route running. He's got okay speed for 89. Acceleration is kind of low at 90. The change of direction really hurts him at 77, but Emmanuel Hall has that. And that actually hurts both of these guys with getting open. They just struggle with those cuts and getting open. This guy right here, though, as a rookie, has played really, really well in the preseason, and I've been itching to get him a couple starts. And now that my season's pretty much over, I may let him start in place of Hall just to see what he's got and see if he's got some potential. Because, man, he had a big preseason game for me and played really, really well. Tight end position has been a position of strength for me, shockingly. Adam Trotman coming in as a rookie in the NFL, second-year player here in the OMFL, has played really great. He's a good blocker. He's made some good plays. Normal development, which kind of hurts me trying to develop him long-term. But even for a low overall, these 2 guys right here in Hess and Trotman have played really well for me. Good blockers. They get open. They catch the ball, and they play good. Offensive line's where my money is at in this team. Moved Ramczyk for right tackle into the inside after kind of talking to Rob, and he said that this speed was really killing me at the right tackle position. I took my center McCoy, moved him out to right tackle. That hasn't worked out well early because McCoy has been getting blowed up with those right tackle positions, but he is my fastest left offensive lineman that I had outside of Armstead, who does a good job at left tackle. And so we're going to have to build him up. I think he is a star development, so there's some potential to build him up, and hopefully having Ramczyk on the inside will continue to open things up for me and continue to just build these guys. I mean, there's a lot of potential. You can see 86, 86, 99, 85, and 96. So they should be able to block for me, and it finally felt like this past game they started to do that really well. They protected Gore in the backfield. They opened up some lanes. They just didn't give Kamara the ball enough because I was passing the ball too well, and just didn't stay focused on getting Kamara the ball. Defensive line I'm excited about, but I think these guys are going to end up being a lot of role players as I build it. Look, I really invested into the center. I brought in the import Pickney from Madden 20. Burton was my first round pick this past draft. He's a good player, 81 overall star development. And so he's got some potential. He was on the outside, but really wasn't getting a lot of pressure. So I figured, look, he's 292 pounds. He's got 89 strength. Let's move him inside. Pickney will be the big guy that kind of clogs up the middle. I know Pickney's not that 315, that 310, which is what you normally like there. But for right now, this is what I'm going to try. and maybe mix that up a little bit more next season. I like Davenport. We got to see if we can re-sign him. Another normal development guy, though, and it's going to be hard to build him up, but he does bring a lot of speed and playmaking ability off of that weak side. And Carey, he was a defensive tackle. I moved him to the outside. I felt like he's a little bit smaller at 292 than Burton was. Actually, they're the same size, so that actually was not right. I just wanted to mix it up. It wasn't working with him as a defensive tackle and Burton as an outside rusher guy. And so mixing this up, and it's worked out pretty well for me. Not getting a ton of sacks, but this past game they played pretty good. Shepard is another rookie that just kind of stepped into a starting role after being my second-round draft pick. He's played solid for me. He's moved around from the inside back to the outside, and I think that that's where he's going to end up settling. I think long-term, if I'm able to bring in another guy for this 4-3, I'll move him to the weak side and control him a little bit more, and he'll be just fine out there. Alex Anzalone's a star player, so he needs a lot of building up. I didn't really focus on him last year, but I focused on him this year. He's playing the middle, isn't making a ton of plays for me, but I really like the depth that I have here. We'll just have to, it's probably going to be a season away from building him up. Dye was a guy that I got to play middle linebacker last year as a backup. He didn't really play well in that position this year because of his strength at 71. He really gets bullied around, so I've put him to the outside on the weak side to try to use his speed and playmaking ability. He was hurt most of the season, so I haven't really got a full gauge on if that's going to work out well for me. I think he is a star development. Maybe not, he might be a normal development, but I user him a lot and see how that's going to work out. Cornerback's a position that I'm excited about. Maddox and Hill, two guys that I traded for last year, and they've played really, really well for me. Been really focusing on building Lattimore up. I'm hoping that we can get a development bump for him, and these three guys bring a lot of potential. Amick Robinson was a guy that I bought in as a free agent, low contract, just to fill a roster. Same thing with Justin Hardy, who's been on this team for a little bit. So a little bit of a depth that needs working there, but it's going to open up for me now that I've got some money to spend. Safety, though, I really like. Look, Chauncey Gardner has played that roaming role for the Saints now. In this team, he's moved to free safety. That allowed me to move Marcus Williams over to strong safety. These guys do a really good job of controlling the backfield. I think my team does a pretty good job in the defensive passing game. Just need to continue to build that up. And then we've done a great job of building up picks. Gave away some of those third and fourth rounders, but we've got three what is looking to be high second rounders right now, and then my first rounder. So I'm going to have to really hit these 4 picks out of the park and then go depth here and then spend really wisely with my free agency money that I have. There's some guys here that I kind of like. Ethan Stick is a guy that I'd love to build up, but he's normal development, and so that's really hard to do. And we'll kind of see where the rest of these guys fall. Most of these guys are just free agent pickups that I picked up at roster minimums just to kind of fill my practice squad and have some guys. Let's look at how the games have went real quick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up again. Just wanted to do this as a test and see how everything was going to turn out, because evidently what I see is not always what you guys see. And I'm, again, still working out the bugs in this new system and trying to get some things figured out. And not quite sure why they're not completely going the way that I want them, but we're going to get it figured out. This game started out with a thumping against the Panthers. This ended up being a sim win, but he was thumping me this bad anyway. I mean, he just completely blew the wheels off. I think he had picked me off 4 times. I just couldn't get anything going. Tim comes in with the Jets. Again, a defensive battle. Tim was really killing me in the run game. He had a lot of cutback lanes open to him and just couldn't get anything going on offense. Buccaneers come in, another struggled. He just kind of throttled me, and I just couldn't get anything going. And then I had a couple of sim games after that. This was a sim, or actually a CPU game. Mo had to play it, and he got beat by my CPU team. Had a bye week, and then I got to come back and play the Bills. This was just a game that was really tight in the first half, and then Outlaw really just threw the game away in the second half. He forced about 3 throws that really just came back to bite him. came back and played Rob, and of course we both played to a tie. This, I think it went into overtime. Both of us turned the ball over into overtime. It's actually a fun game and a good game, but ended in a tie, which just kind of sucks. And then there's this game that I just had against Blue. This was the funnest game that I've had so far this season. My team played really well. I felt like he and I played, excellent FPR, and it's a fun game when your team plays the way you hope. Their team plays at least close to how they hope, and you both play within FPR. It just makes it for a really fun game, and that's exactly what this was. This was just a really, really fun game. Doesn't get any better for me, though. Buccaneers, Eagles, Cowboys, Falcons, who have a brand new owner who's a great player, Panthers, Falcons, Cardinals, Bears, Dolphins. So aiming for a top 5 pick. We'll see how this works out for me and works out for my team. We'll look at a couple quick stats here, both for my team and then as individuals. So you see offensively, my team has struggled this year. We're going to be bottom of the league. Yeah, we're going to be way down here. So it's going to be, 3, 6, 7th in the league in total offense. Passing is not going to be good at all because my team has just struggled there. And it looks like I'll actually fall about midway, but it's really affected my rushing game the most because I feel like guys don't have to really defend against my pass, and they can really stack the box and send players, and it just has killed my rushing game. I'm in the bottom. I'm number 6 in the bottom half, so whatever the math is there, was at be 26th in the league. Points per game is not good. 19, and so it's going to be, again, the bottom half of the league. Look at my defense, which I think hasn't played super terrible, but not as good as we played last year when we had all those playmakers. It looks to be around 15 in the passing game. Going to look to be about that 15 mark or so, maybe a little higher than that. And then the rushing game is going to be the bottom half of the league, 930 yards. So it's going to put me in like 22 position, which is not good. And it's really been the sacks. I have not had a lot of sacks. Whereas last year I had the leaguer in the NFC. Leaguer? What's a leaguer? I don't know. The league leader in the NFC in sacks. And now I'm going to be towards the middle of this group. And then interceptions. We're just not getting a lot of turnovers. I think that's going to be on the uptick here. But we're still in the bottom half of the league in both of those. Look at a few player stats here. You can see the struggles with Gore. We're sticking it out, though. He is the best option. 58%, so that's starting to tick up. I think it was at 51% earlier this year, but we've had a couple good games where he's been more efficient. 7 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. I feel like I'm making better decisions, but there's at least 3 throws a game where you make the right read, and he just freaking, like there was a play against the Patriots today where I had no pressure, right read, stepped up in the pocket, feet set. He threw it 8 yards off mark and threw it right to a defensive player, and that's gonna hurt me. 16 sacks isn't terrible, but many more than we did against Breeze last year. Kamara was one of the tops in the NFC in rushing, even though he's hurt a lot of the second half of the year. He's below 3.5 yards a game right now, which is not good. And then my backups aren't playing any better. Hilliard 2.9, Glass 3.8. I have a lot of interest in Glass as a rookie. He's kind of that strong guy, but man, Hilliard makes plays when he comes in, but then gives up some really goofy plays and just kind of sucks sometimes. Michael Thomas, I'm not getting him the ball. 28 receptions, 409 yards. I have to do a better job of figuring out ways to scheme up plays for Thomas. I think he had 1 catch this past game against New England. He was really shut down, and I've got to figure out a way to get him the ball more. Troutman has stepped up big. Hall and Harris keep going back and forth, but again, I think this one kid, Hopkins, no catches yet. I really think we're going to get him some plays. Looking at my offensive line, McCoy has struggled. Ramczyk struggled the one game, gave up 2 sacks. Went ahead, moved him inside, moved McCoy outside. He's just struggled this year, and we've got to figure that out and get him some help. On the defensive side of the ball, Anzalone is leading my team with 52 tackles total, 5 tackles for loss. Pickney's played better the last few games with 5 tackles for loss, but defensive tackles aren't as good as they were last Madden, and so this has been a bit of a waste when it comes to an import, but we didn't know that's how it was going to play, and Pickney was a baller and still has the potential to be such a great player for me. 5 sacks for Davenport leads my team, which is not great. And we've got to figure that out to get more pressure on the quarterback, as we did this past game against Bloop. Chauncey Gardner with 4, Marcus Williams with 3. I'd love to see, my guy Lattimore here start turning the ball over. And it's surprising to me how badly he plays. He just doesn't play up to his potential, even though he does have 6 deflections. Avonte Maddox has got to start catching the ball more often. 9 deflections to only 1 interception. So that's a look at my team. Again, I mainly want to do this as a test, kind of figure out what settings are not right here. And I got to email Elgato again to figure out why I'm not getting 4K to my TV and making sure that you guys are getting at least, high definition 1080p, which is what I should be getting with this setup. So thanks for tuning in, fellas. I will do a Press Pass Live tomorrow and get you guys your OMFL news. I did do a recording of one, and it just didn't go well. Everything went haywire, and so we're going to work these kinks out. We're going to get them figured out and get it working the way that we want to, and hopefully you guys like the content. So more to come. We'll do another Saints and Sinners here soon, and Press Pass Live here soon. And until next time, guys, God bless you. We'll see you. Peace.